Part 1, The Good Teacher. Introduction. In a small town called Greenfield, there was a school named Greenwood Elementary. This school was famous for one thing, its amazing teacher, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas was not just any teacher. He was loved by all his students. He made learning fun and easy. This story is about Mr. Thomas and how he changed the lives of his students. Meeting Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas was tall and had curly brown hair. He always wore glasses and had a warm smile. Every morning, he stood at the school gate, welcoming every student with a cheerful good morning. His classroom was colorful and full of interesting things. There were posters, books, and even a small aquarium with fish. The students loved being in his class. The first day of school. On the first day of school, the students were nervous. They didn't know what to expect. Mr. Thomas greeted each one with a smile and made them feel at home. He introduced himself and told a funny story about his cat, Whiskers, who once got stuck in a tree. The students laughed and felt more relaxed. Learning is fun. Mr. Thomas believed that learning should be fun. He used games, songs, and stories to teach. One day, he brought a big box to the class. The students were curious. He told them it was a mystery box. Inside the box were different objects related to their lessons. Each student got a chance to pick an object and talk about it. This helped them learn new words and speak confidently. Helping every student. Mr. Thomas knew that every student was different. Some were good at math, while others loved reading. He paid attention to each student and helped them in their weak areas. If a student had trouble with a subject, he would spend extra time with them. He never gave up on anyone. A special project. One day, Mr. Thomas announced a special project. The students were to create a Greenfield Times newspaper. They were excited. They had to write articles, draw pictures, and interview people. This project taught them many skills, like writing, teamwork, and creativity. Field trip to the museum. Mr. Thomas loved taking his students on field trips. One sunny day, he took them to the Greenfield Museum. The students saw many interesting things, like old coins, paintings, and dinosaur bones. Mr. Thomas explained everything in a simple way. They asked many questions, and he answered them all patiently. A problem to solve. One day, the school had a problem. The playground was old and not safe. The students were sad because they loved playing there. Mr. Thomas had an idea. He suggested that they raise money to fix the playground. The students made posters, sold cookies, and even organized a small concert. With Mr. Thomas's guidance, they raised enough money to repair the playground. The class play. At the end of the school year, Mr. Thomas's class put on a play. It was a story about friendship and bravery. The students worked hard, practicing their lines and making costumes. On the day of the play, parents and teachers came to watch. The students performed wonderfully and everyone clapped loudly. They felt proud of themselves. Conclusion of Part 1. Mr. Thomas was more than just a teacher. He was a friend, a guide, and a role model. He showed his students that learning could be fun and that they could achieve anything with hard work and kindness. The students of Greenwood Elementary were lucky to have him as their teacher. Stay tuned for Part 2, where we will see how Mr. Thomas continues to inspire his students and helps them overcome new challenges. Part 2, The Good Teacher. Introduction. Mr. Thomas had already made a big impact on his students in Greenfield. He had shown them that learning could be exciting and that they could achieve great things. But the school year was not over yet, and there were many more adventures and lessons to come. A new student. One chilly morning, a new student arrived at Greenwood Elementary. Her name was Lily, and she had just moved to Greenfield from another town. Lily was shy and nervous. She felt like she didn't fit in. Mr. Thomas welcomed her with a warm smile and introduced her to the class. He asked some students to be her buddies and help her get used to the new school. Lily's struggle. Lily had a hard time with math. She found it confusing and often made mistakes. Mr. Thomas noticed her struggle. Instead of making her feel bad, he patiently explained the concepts in a way that Lily could understand. He used colorful blocks and simple drawings to make math fun. Slowly, Lily began to improve. She felt more confident and happy. The Science Fair. Mr. Thomas announced that the school would have a science fair. Each student had to create a project and present it. The students were excited and started brainstorming ideas. Mr. Thomas guided them, helping them choose interesting topics. Some students made volcano models, while others did experiments with plants. Lily decided to make a model of the solar system. She worked hard, painting the planets and writing about each one. Mr. Thomas helped her with the details and encouraged her to practice her presentation. On the day of the science fair, Lily's project was a big hit. She explained everything confidently and won a prize for her hard work. A lesson in kindness. One day, Mr. Thomas noticed that some students were not getting along. There were arguments and hurt feelings. He decided to teach them a lesson in kindness. He told them a story about a boy who helped others and made many friends. Then, he asked each student to write down something nice about their classmates. The next day, Mr. Thomas read the kind words aloud. The students felt happy and appreciated. They realized the importance of being kind to each other. From that day on, the class atmosphere improved. The students were more helpful and friendly. An unexpected challenge. As winter approached, a big storm hit Greenfield. The school building was damaged and classes were canceled for a few days. The students were worried about their school and their studies. Mr. Thomas used this opportunity to teach them about resilience and problem solving. He organized online classes and sent fun assignments through emails. He also encouraged the students to read books and write stories about their experiences during the storm. When the school reopened, the students shared their stories. They learned that even in tough times, they could continue learning and growing. Preparing for the big test. The end of the school year was approaching, and the students had to prepare for a big test. They were anxious and worried about doing well. Mr. Thomas understood their fears and decided to help them in a special way. He organized study groups and extra classes. He made review games and quizzes to make studying enjoyable. He also taught them relaxation techniques to manage stress. With his support, the students felt more prepared and confident. On the day of the test, they did their best and felt proud of their efforts. The graduation ceremony. The school year finally came to an end. Greenwood Elementary held a graduation ceremony to celebrate the students' achievements. Parents, teachers, and students gathered in the school hall. The students wore caps and gowns and received certificates. Mr. Thomas gave a heartfelt speech. He praised the students for their hard work and growth. He told them that he was proud of each one of them and that they should always believe in themselves. The students felt a deep sense of gratitude towards Mr. Thomas. They knew they had learned more than just school subjects. They had learned valuable life lessons. A farewell surprise. The students wanted to do something special for Mr. Thomas. They decided to organize a surprise farewell party. They made cards, baked cookies, and decorated the classroom. When Mr. Thomas walked in, he was overwhelmed with joy. The students thanked him for being a wonderful teacher and making a difference in their lives. Conclusion: Mr. Thomas was not just a good teacher. He was an extraordinary one. He inspired his students, made learning fun, and taught them important values. The students of Greenwood Elementary would always remember him and the lessons he imparted. As they moved on to the next grade, they carried with them the knowledge and confidence that Mr. Thomas had given them. Thank you for listening to the story of Mr. Thomas. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something valuable. Remember, a good teacher can change lives, and every student has the potential to achieve great things.